Good morning. The sky is dark and ominous. You can hear the thunder and see the lightning, and we have 30 minutes to walk through the city in order to get to the train station, so
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Update, we did not make it very far. All right, it's boat o'clock. I think this was the right choice. And welcome to Florence, where it has been raining and raining. The sun has come out and blessed us with its presence. We just dropped off our laundry. We're gonna go head to our hotel. The rain has been threatening and pouring, but so far, it has been very kind to us. This is the 25 Hours Hotel in one of the heaven rooms. Very demure, very mindful, very cutesy. Got us some truffle sandwiches. We're at Giacosa, which is at the former location of Cafe Cassoni, where, according to legend, the Negroni mixed drink was born when Count Camillo Negroni added gin to his favorite American cocktail. So, in some sense, this may actually be the birthplace of the Negroni. We got a good 1.5 kilos of Chianina beef, which is so good that we forgot to take a video before we started demolishing it. And for a digestif, Montepulciano, which is my favorite wine, with cherries, which tastes a little like cough syrup, but in a good way. Good morning. After eating what amounted to about 2 pounds of Chianina steak last night, and I have to say some of the best steak I've ever had, we are on our way today to visit the famous Leaning Tower of Pisa. There's a fraction of the medieval walls of Florence. First stop, Siena. Town is divided into several districts. This one is the district of the snail.
If the neighborhood is participating in the race, is not
a boy riding a snail.
That's basically what happened with Florence, conquered in 1800s. So basically, this whole area we just walked.
Now we're in the panther section.
The beer station that they use in the 1890s for their dinners. That's
welcome to the main square. This is the rear end of the Siena Cathedral, and if you look, you can see the brick still up on top, because they were working on finishing the facade when the plague hit, and they never had the manpower to finish. Now here's the front. It took so long to build this that there's multiple architectural styles. On the lower end you can see the Romanesque, and higher up you can see the Gothic beginning. And the striations are apparently Byzantine in origin. Look at that color scheme. Unreal. Very Romulus and Remus. And if you look, this is a tomb of Francesco Piccolomini. And right here, this statue is an original Michelangelo. And supposedly, that boy right there is Raphael, who worked on this cathedral. This is legitimately one of the most beautiful cathedrals I've ever seen. There's the Chapel of John the Baptist. The statue is Donatello. This is the Piccolomini Library, built as an annex to the cathedral. Look at these books of chants. Beautiful. The illumination is incredible. You can see the original old-style music notation that eventually evolved into what we have today. But almost more importantly, because this room was so rarely accessed, all of the frescoes remain unfaded. These are some of the best preserved original works of a young Raphael. And here, in a chapel designed by Bernini, is a 13th century icon of the Virgin Mary and the baby Jesus. It's very hard to see behind the glass, but Jesus has both a crown and a beard. And this one is actually rumored to have miraculous characteristics. No one did it like Bernini. I don't think the camera can capture just how beautiful this is. This has to be the most beautiful cathedral I have ever seen. So what did we think of the,
That's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, and I know, I'm a little speechless.
Yeah, I have never seen a church like that. That was sublime. I don't think the camera even can begin to capture what that experience is like, but if you have to come to Siena, the tour is great. You know, you get to see the whole city. They talk about the horse races and all the wonderful community here. But if you have to come just for that church,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. That was actively a religious experience. Siena is built on 3 hills, and apparently it was quite large prior to the Black Plague, reaching 60,000 people. And then they expanded it out, got ready for more population, and then the plague hit, and it's just never quite recovered. It was conquered by Florence in the 1500s, and now it kind of is a focus for tourists, and apparently really into its cathedral. Baby olives. So we just had a wonderful wine tasting at Little Vineyard, and the best thing by far was the Vinsanto del Chianti, which was basically a dessert wine made from Chianti grapes. It was the tastiest dessert wine I've ever had, and probably my new favorite. And I think we're right next to San Gimignano, where we're headed next. Lime tree, in a pot. Reminds me of my own balcony agriculture. Welcome to San Gimignano. Very medieval energy to this place, even more so than Siena. It's I feel like I'm in a like a Robin Hood movie.
Yeah.
San Gimignano is often known as the Manhattan of Tuscany because of its many towers, and only one of them is accessible to the public, Il Torre Grosso, and we're gonna climb it. Andiamo. Level 1 is down, and both of us are really hurting for fear of heights, but look at that view. Just a little more to go. You made it. And welcome to the peak, to the pinnacle, the summit. Man, that was a climb. But look at that. All of San Gimignano and the Elsa Valley beyond laid out in front of us. And this little flowering plant just living up here on the tower. That's cute. This is the other side. See all the little towers underneath us. They look very small from up here. I apologize for the frequency of the lights, but this is a table runner from the 16th century. Look at the intricacy on that. And yet somehow, the patterns look like something I might find in my grandma's cabin. Ave Maria, grazia plena.
I would still try it now.
Of course, it's gelato.
It's the world's best, allegedly.
It's the world's best gelato. Anyway, this is Il Duomo. It may not be as impressive as the one in Siena, but we're about to look inside. And for the sake of respect, I'm now wearing a kilt. Much simpler. Guess what we found in Pisa? Giant prickles.
Those paddles are huge.
And now for one of the most famous buildings in Italy, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So the tower is actually part of a larger complex consisting of this baptistry, that Duomo Cathedral, and the tower, which is really just a bell tower. At the doors of the cathedral, look at that bronze work. Look at the Byzantine-style stripes along the top-level columns. That's the same as we saw in Siena. It seems like when these were being built, that was all the rage. But on this one, though, the ceiling is incredible. All gold work. Very detailed. This pulpit was designed and carved by Giovanni Pisano between 1302 and 1310. Look at the intensity of that stonework. You can definitely see that while it hasn't quite achieved the realism of Michelangelo and the later Renaissance artists, it's moving in that direction. The high altar, meanwhile, seems a little bit more modern, while the space behind it is decidedly Renaissance. I think this is as far back in as I can go. And here's the urn of San Ranieri. The saint apparently died in 1161, but later his body was exhumed from its resting place in the church, and over the centuries, it's been moved to more and more complicated and beautiful urns until the current one. Double glasses, or as Gemma put it earlier, dork mode. Why do dark mode when you can do dork mode? It's Romulus and Remus. Alright, and now I have to get a goofy picture.
Perfect.
I got it.
You're exactly... You should actually turn to another angle because it's almost too good.
Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah.
Wait, do one leaning that way. Great.
Yeah.
Going in. All right, up the stairs. Look at how worn these stairs are from all the pedestrian traffic over the last several centuries. You can kind of feel the tilt on your way up. A little disorienting. We're getting there. Look at the mountains off in the distance. How are you doing? All right, and then the last staircase. Very thin. All right, and up we come. Here's the core of it. There are the bells. And here is our view. Let this video serve as evidence that Gemma made it to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa with only mild threats of death. Yep, she made it. See, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't.
It was pretty bad, but it wasn't that bad. And now we come to the panicky side. The sun is setting, so it's kind of mucking with a lot of my video. But here we are, looking down on the world. Hiding in the corner.
No, I went to that edge.
Okay,
Yeah.
good enough.
Had to FaceTime Larry and let him.
Okay, let him know.
Yeah.
What a beautiful place. It's a shame they never ring the bells anymore. Love that sound. And here's the cathedral from above in the setting sun. It's quite a pretty thing. Well, that was great. Now, back down the hole. I don't know if the camera captures it, but the umbrella pines are really green in the sunset. We're finally back in Florence, walking back to the hotel. So what do you think? What was your final take?
Ooh, that was a great day. I think my favorite is the cathedral in Siena.
Yeah.
Hands down, most beautiful cathedral I've ever seen.
Yeah, the Leaning Tower of Pisa let me knock a Civ 5 wonder off my list, but that Duomo was unlike anything I've ever seen anywhere in the world. It was probably the most beautiful one, like, anywhere. So,
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. Tomorrow we're gonna go back out into the countryside, do a little wine tasting, just sort of explore a different part of Tuscany.
Yeah.
It might not have quite the same amount of historical stuff, so it might be a shorter video, but I guess we'll see. Until then, good night.